There we go.
Test.
Yeah, we're live.
No, we can. Oh, I just can't hear anything through my headset. But hey, welcome on into the Ryan Ripken Show. Happy Thursday here. We're to the end of the week. It's almost Friday, our last show of the week. But let's talk about what we have on the docket today. We had the pleasure to sit down and talk with two members of the Orioles organization, one top prospect in Coby Mayo, and then Orioles all-star third baseman Jordan Westburg. We have clips of that to show you, and I think it's very revealing. And Jordan Westburg talks about identity. Still can't hear myself. Talks about identity. And on top of it, then Coby Mayo kind of displays what's been going on down there to start off the season in AAA. The Orioles then have a series finale against the Guardians. And then we're going to go through a top 5 pitching list as we move forward, because the one that's the best pitcher in all of baseball right now, well, his team is coming to play the Orioles next. That's the Cincinnati Reds. We'll get into that in a little bit. And since it is Thursday, we're going to start off our cocktail segment, sponsored by our friends over at Deep Eddy. And I guess then, guys, we are going to have a little fitness contest off Zach. So we're going to figure that out. We'll explain it in just a moment. But Zach, as we're getting things together, I'll see if it's on my end real quickly, Brad. Oh, it's unplugged because of the thing? Oh, okay. We're fine. We did want to open up, though, on a more serious note. All of our thoughts and prayers for everyone down at FSU. We're monitoring that whole situation. I don't want to continue to speak on any of that at the moment until more and more comes out. Extremely horrific, sad, and terrible situation, Zach, overall. And our thoughts and prayers are with everyone, and really hoping for the best case scenario, Zach, with everything that's going on.
Yeah, just hope everything is okay. You know, it's all we can do at this point.
Yeah, I think just a reminder for everyone, be good to one another, love one another. And that's all we can ask. And on a more positive note than on trying to uplift, I did want to mention this because one of our members of our community, Jason, and shout out Jason and shout out Joe and everyone in the community. Jason is looking for a kidney. And we're talking about people helping people. I'm not saying it could be you, but maybe it's someone you know that can help make a difference there. And if you know someone that could be a potential help for Jason, and we will post Jason's website as well so you guys can see the journey that he has gone through so far. But just wanted to throw that out there again. We're all about caring for our community, and we hope that we can be a part to help Jason.
Yeah, and I also wanted to acknowledge it's actually good timing. It's National Donor Awareness Month.
Yeah.
So kind of works out. I mean, not doesn't work out, but you know what I mean? Just a lot because it's should just go out and be a donor.
Yeah.
Put it on the list.
Like we always say.
What are you going to do with a liver when you die?
Yeah. Like we always say, you know, people helping people, and this is what it's about. So
I'm not donating my face. That's the only thing I won't donate. I don't want anybody else with my face. They can have everything else.
We're getting dangerously close, I feel like, to that being an option.
It is an option. That's actually happened. You didn't know that?
Oh, well, yeah, I guess like burn victims and stuff. Like
yeah. So actually, this happened in Maryland. There was actually a penis transplant. Did you know that?
You can do anything.
Medicine, baby. Medicine today. And actually, that was like years ago. It was like probably 4 or 5 years ago now, maybe even longer than that. Full-blown penis. You know what my biggest question about that was?
What?
I wonder what the physical therapy was like. You can donate anything, people. No, but in all seriousness, like, you know, if you're in Jason's shoes, what would you do? Would you would you want somebody to be able to donate? Yes, you would.
Yeah. So spread awareness. Continue to, you know, like we always preach. Thank you. You know, people helping people.
Yeah.
It's just all about, you know, one little thing can make a massive difference. So
donate life.
Yeah, we got Ryan coming in and out of the camera.
Did you try fixing it? We needed it to stop blood on the ground. I know, but okay. We'll see if it works. Oh, you got a new one? Yeah. That's okay. That's what I was looking for.
Well, see, I think. Well, let me see. Speak.
Speak.
I can't hear anything. Can you? Is 2 on at all by any chance?
It's two on. Yes.
Like the no, I meant sorry. The turning it up, is it all off at all?
No.
Hello. Nothing. Unique New York. Well, I'm still trying to figure this out here.
Wolf.
Yeah, it is. This is take two. Oh, someone. What a Thursday here.
I was gonna say I can hear you.
Internet's
Clear.
not
I
working.
can hear you fine.
Let's try this again. Can you guys actually hear?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
great. Oh, I'm very happy for you guys.
It's actually very clear, very nice.
Wait, speak again.
Speak.
Hey, Wolf.
Can you try to turn mine up?
It's up, dude. I mean, if it's any higher, it'll...
So the thing was, we had this working perfectly yesterday.
And
What
this
happened?
morning.
What happened?
Didn't it come? You said it came unplugged, right? That thing broke.
Well, that was not for my headset though. Mine was a completely different headset.
Okay.
We're rocking and rolling. We're going to get it all sorted out here at the Ryan Ripken Show. Well, I'm glad. Yeah, Ollie, speak. Wolf, Ollie is in studio here for the group. Look, we do have a lot to discuss. Oh, there it was. There it is. We're back. Oh, now we're not. Now we're not. We were. Maybe wiggle up, heel. Yes. Right there. So we need the half plug. The half plug is what we need to be ready to rock and roll. Look, just like that. Just like that. We're back. And let's get rocking and rolling. But we did mention to start this show off, I think we're going to have that for the poll. You know what? We got a nice sponsorship with Merit Clubs. By the way, we're going to figure out again one of these days how to get this up here.
Not today. But
It's not today, but
today is not that day.
One of these days.
well, we had the wrong pieces of it. But shout out Merit Clubs. We just started our partnership with them. We have a lot of things planned with them moving forward. One of those things, though, in the meantime, you want a 30-day free membership. It's on us, on them. Put the link in the chat. Use code RIP, RIP25, all lowercase. You get 30 days free on us. Thank you, Merit Clubs. And the pool's opening up here soon in Canton. And apparently we're going to be doing a show up there. We'll be working on our tan. And maybe we're going to figure out how good of a jump shot Zach Bollinger truly has. The rumor
I'm telling
is
you, actually, weirdly enough, I'm money from half court. Further I go out, more money I get. Makes no sense.
somewhat it kind of does make sense.
No,
Not really.
I have a little Curry in me. What can I say?
Steph Bolly.
Yeah,
Could be Steph Bolly. But we're going to do a coin flip here with our coin specifically. I just had this thing. Are we just losing stuff left and right, or is this just a
in the
thing?
game official coin thing?
No, I just took it out. Goodness.
Jesus Christ.
What just happened? I had the coin. We were great. Anyway, point being, Zach and I are going to flip a coin of who's going to do this. And you guys are going to vote on the exercise that Zach and I must do and must participate in.
I don't know.
So you guys are going to be the ones that make the decision for us. You didn't trust that it wasn't in there? Goodness. Well, hey, it's not in my pocket. It's in my pocket. It's in my pocket.
No fucking way.
I knew it. That's crazy.
What a day. Well, hey guys, why don't we get to it while you guys figure it out. We're not going to flip this coin yet. We're going to let the polls rock, and then we'll save the suspense for later on.
Yeah, and let's
for
keep
Zach
the
and I.
coin. Let's keep the coin.
Yeah, don't lose the coin.
Keep
For
an eye on
God's
the coin.
sake.
Guys, the coin was safe and sound. But moving into our content now, guys, we did get a chance to talk with two members of the Orioles organization, Coby
Yes.
Mayo and Jordan Westburg. And guys, why don't we start with Jordan Westburg, because of the fact that the Orioles, they're playing tonight. Westy is in the lineup tonight. The Orioles are trying to win their first series of the year against a very, very good Cleveland Guardians team. And actually, it's the way that the Guardians play. You know, we described it in this clip as scrappy. And the Guardians have a identity. And we want you to listen to this clip because Jordan talked about identity. And then I asked him specifically what the Orioles identity is trying to be in 2025. So Brad, let's play that clip.
Really early, and there's a long ways to go. And we kind of know how talented we are. We know what we want our identity to be. It's just about continuing to build on that every single day, no matter what the result is, right? Or what the product looks like on the field. There's a process behind it, and trusting in ourselves, trusting in our guys, knowing that everybody behind you has your back. Like, that's what it comes down to.
You mentioned though identity, Westy. Like, I'm curious. Like, I watched the Guardians, and I don't know how to describe the Guardians play specifically. They say it's Guardians ball.
Just scrappy.
Just scrappy. That's a good way to describe it. But if the Guardians are scrappy, like how would you define with the Orioles? Like what do you want to be? I guess I should say identity wise.
Yeah, I think we want to be kind of like blue collar, gritty, along the similar lines as a Guardians club. You know, like when I think of our roster, you don't think of us like you think of a Dodgers lineup or a Yankees lineup, maybe. Not saying that we don't have that talent. We do. But I think it's going to come through a channel of having to be a little bit more gritty than the other guys, the guys across, in the other dugout. It's going to take a little bit more blue collar, tough mindset. Like, I don't care who you are, we're going to find a way. That kind of vibe, I think, is kind of the ball that we're striving to play. There's been a lot of talk about like playing with an edge, playing a little bit pissed off, just being tough guys. I think is how I want, or how I hope our identity, settles at the end of the day, somewhere in that range.
So you heard words right there. Playing a little bit pissed off, having an edge, being gritty, blue collar. And for the longest time, a lot of people have wondered, well, what is this team going to be? And I'm glad Westy mentioned that. I think one time, Zach, people go, oh, where is that passion from this team? I think that's something that gets thrown out all the time. But that's also, at times, I don't think that can be fair to say, because you got to be in that locker room. You got to be in that dugout. But I think it's at times when the Orioles have lost, they've been flat. I think that is a fair assessment to say, hey, they came out flat. Bats weren't awake. They didn't play with maybe the energy that they've had. But I also like that Westy is acknowledging, hey, we got a lot of things still to work on. It's early. But how about that? He says that we are mindful that we need to play more pissed off.
Yeah. And Westburg was incredible. The two things I took two things away from that interview. One, never trust anything Colton Cowser says. And two, this team understands that they are at their best when they are that scrappy team that we saw in 2023. That it doesn't matter how many runs they're down by. It doesn't matter who the opposing pitcher is. That they were scrappy. They were a scrappy team. Little things, working the count. Instead of seeing 3 pitches, every guy saw 4 or 5. So now all of a sudden you're getting starters out early. You're getting to the bullpen earlier in the game. You're getting to their less high leverage guys earlier. And it felt like the Orioles, it didn't matter what position they were in 2023. They were just going to be gritty and find ways to win. That little chip on their shoulder. I like how he described it as almost like blue collar, because if you look at the Dodgers lineup, you look at that $1 billion lineup, you look at some of the contracts that have been handed out. The Orioles aren't a $1 billion lineup. Do I think that they are? He put the Yankees in. I would say the Orioles, when they're playing their best, they are just as good, if not better, than the Yankees lineup, outside of Aaron Judge, obviously. But they can compete with these guys. But I love that mentality of they know that they're going to have to do the extra things. They're not just going to be able to go out there and, they're not all 1 through 9 Shohei Ohtani. They don't have Ohtani, Betts, Freeman, 3 Hall of Famers in a row, where the Dodgers, you most likely 2 of them are going to be on for a game. They're going to have to grind out at bats. They're going to have to find ways to win. And I love the Guardians. We talk about them all the time. That's the team that we saw it last year. They played 162 scrappy games, and they continued it in the playoffs, and that's how they found success.
But doesn't it come down to like consistency as well, like not just consistent play, but like consistent play time, Rip. And we talked about this a little bit with your Uncle Bill kind of mentioning about how there's been some inconsistencies with the Orioles lineup about where they're placed, as far as like Mateo being the most recent example of that. And a lot of Orioles fans have been asking some questions and scratching their heads about the actual lineup itself. When you have your one-of-one guy out there and he's not in playing every game, when you have your hottest bats out there, analytics have taken over what maybe is perceived as, a guy who's just hot, and it doesn't matter who he's going up against. So like, could you, I know that I'm not asking you to be critical, but I'm asking you to like, could you clarify and help fans and even myself understand why that takes place and what's behind Brandon Hyde's reasoning when it comes to that?
Yeah. So I think it's fair to say the Orioles are one of those teams that shuffle their lineup as much as anybody in baseball. I don't have the stats in front of me to back it up and say that they are number one in baseball, but if I were to take a guess right now, I think that they are high up there. Because I've been watching a lot of the Padres games recently, because, shout out friend of the show, friend of the program, Gavin Sheets, and I love baseball. When they play matchups, if it's a lefty, Gavin's not going to be in the lineup when they're facing a lefty. When it's a righty, they have a few other guys, but they have a core group that is going to be in there every single day. Now, for the Orioles case, since we're going back to this, their core that's in there almost every single day is Gunnar, Adley, and Westburg. He got an off day, but he's usually the one. Jackson is starting to get those reps, but he's not playing every single day. They're trying to protect him versus lefties. He has played a lot of games, but to your point of how do guys get in rhythm, it is being out there on a consistent basis. And so it's hard when you also don't want to have the guys on the bench be iced out. Kyle Stowers, when we had him on a couple days ago, Stowie mentioned how hard it was to sit for 5 or 6 days.
Right.
So I think Brandon Hyde's trying to be conscious of, hey, Laureano's off to a rough start. We don't want to lose his confidence at all, because we're going to need him at some point. It's happy to see him hit the dinger last night, build the confidence. But on the other side of it, guys being out there consistently. So I think right now in April, we'll let it marinate. But once we get to June and July, I think you got to roll with your hot bat. You got to roll with the guys that you want in there all the time. And for Jackson Holiday specifically, if Jackson gets going, I'm not going to care on the matchup. Right. I don't want it to be a matchup base, but that is a Brandon Hyde and even the front office thing of playing matchups more than maybe playing feel. I know you got something to say.
Yeah, I think that's where it's. I saw a tweet about this, and I brought it up on Kevin and Zach React last night because I thought it was perfectly put. Getting, when they talk about we don't want to, let Jackson or, Kjerstad go against these tough lefties because they haven't shown success because, they're not quite there. Well, it's like blaming a flower for not growing after you put it in a dark closet. They're not going to get better if they don't face these guys. We talk about, and we have been talking about now for 2 years, Jackson Holiday is this perennial one-of-one talent. Heston Kjerstad's bat as this, the top prospect, this top, ability to, bat to ball contact and, the power he possesses. You're not going to get the most out of that if you're protecting them, if you're not allowing them to learn. We saw Jackson Holiday in, every level of the minors show slight struggle. Same with Kjerstad. And then they evolved from that. Last year, Jackson Holiday, getting rid of the leg kick and going to the toe tap this year. If he doesn't come up last year and get 97 blown by him 100 times to the point where they're like, okay, we got to fix this, then we're having that same issue this year. Mm-hmm. So it's like you have to allow these young guys to get past those growing pains, because Jackson Holiday's never going to be a great hitter versus lefties if he doesn't get to face lefties. And then suddenly you're sitting in October against Garrett Crochet in the ALDS, and you need Jackson Holiday in that lineup. And you can't sit there and go, oh, well, we wish he would have, we just wish he would have had more opportunities versus lefties. That's what April's for. That's what, May's for, building these guys up for 162. So in October, They've seen this stuff and they're ready.
Yep. By the way, youngest Oriole to hit 2 grand slams.
Yeah.
In his career so far.
Yeah, he surpassed the
guy who played a bunch of games in a row. That's all I know.
Steve Garvey. Which Steve did play a lot of games out there for the Dodgers, but yeah, I know you're talking about Calvin Edwin Ripken. This was actually something I wanted to bring up real quickly because we're talking about you build as you go into the season. That was what we talked about with Westy earlier. Great comment. Just like your talented young left-handed pitcher isn't going to get better if you yank him in the 5th at 73 pitches. In both instances so far this year, Sagano and Povich were into the 5th, could have closed it out, but they went to the bullpen and grabbed they brought in Keegan Aiken, brought in Brian Baker. They got out of it. All good, right? However, 73 pitches for Povich, where you already got Springer out twice. Those are the moments right now you want to personally, I also want to protect the bullpen as much as possible.
Yeah. I
really do. Let's see if Povey can get it done. Also, how great does it look and how much differently does it feel when it says Cade Povich, 5 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, win, or whatever, compared to Cade Povich, 4 2/3, 2 runs, and he didn't get to that qualified chance to win the game.
Right.
It makes all the difference in the world. And also for him, that's a check mark of going, hey, I got this done. Zach, you want to say something?
Yeah, I'm going to go back on everything I just said, and I know it. I'm okay with babying the pitchers, especially Cade Povich at this point in his career. I think he is going to be a star. I think he can be a high-end 2 at his full potential. I think Cade's big thing is confidence, I think. And if there's an opportunity, like you said, it's a double-edged sword because you leave him out there, he gets out of it. Confidence skyrocketed, like you said. He sees that 5, he's up for the win, all that. But it is still that worry of, okay, if he gives up the big hit to Springer here, is it, so yes, there are those both sides to it. But as much as I'm like, throw Jackson to the fire, throw Hess into the fire. If they go 0 for 17, 4 straight times this year.
They don't have elbows that they can blow out.
Yeah, that's like I'm just very with pitchers right now, especially this early in the season. Him at 73 pitches through 4 1/3. I'm like, okay, I'm okay with them taking it up. But I do also understand if he gets out of it, the confidence you get as a young pitcher.
Yeah, for sure. For me, though, it's let him finish the job, and as soon as he gets that, he's done.
Yeah, we're talking 1 extra.
You're moving on, and I get it. He gives it up, and you feel worse about the inning. One thing that always would grind my gears, at least for a confidence standpoint, say you get through 5, and say, hey, he scratched and clawed his way through 5, and say he is at 75 pitches, 80 pitches, but you can tell you could end the day right there. And he shake his hand and say, hey, great job, and you move on.
Yeah.
And then you leave with a great outing, or you send that guy back out there for maybe 1 batter, 2, where to me, it's only a downside. And plus, I want to give a bullpen pitcher a clean inning. You get me 5 innings or 6, hey, call the pen. You got the next inning free. Hey, great job, whoever the starting pitcher is. And also, bullpen guy, get your clean inning, not coming in with all the mess.
Yeah.
It's nice when there's not guys on base, I will say. The reason why I made the bigger point of Povich, though, to close that out, this isn't even a Cade thing. It's early and you have more off days, but one thing that the Orioles are going to need is their bullpen down the stretch. If the Orioles pitching staff, starting-wise, is going to take time to come together, you are going to need your bullpen to not feel like it's going to get tired out early on. That is something that happened last year, where the bullpen, because of then some injuries to the starting staff, because the bullpen was working hard, you could tell that guys got tired. And if you start doing that earlier in the year, the timeline for how exhausted some guys could get could creep up. So you're just trying to protect guys as long as you can. But do you take a win in April doing that compared to maybe being a little bit tired in September? That's your choice, but that is something that you have to navigate here. And if you're new to the channel here and you're navigating through what we got going on, hit that like and subscribe button. We're live every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right here on YouTube. And we've had some great guests so far this week. Had Kyle Stowers, Joe Flacco yesterday, and former Oriole John Means, now with Cleveland. We just went through Ohio yesterday.
Yeah, we really did.
And it wasn't necessarily like eventually it became intentional because we're like, Cleveland's here and then Cincinnati. So we knew we were getting the Ohio food, but it did work out really funny that both Joe and John, both the Cleveland, are like, yeah, well, we can do it on a Thursday. So unintentionally, intentionally, Cleveland Day.
It was
Ohio Day.
Ohio Day.
It was Ohio Day. OHIO. It was beautiful. And then the other guest that we talked to was Coby Mayo.
Yeah.
And Coby, a lot of talk was made from those comments, in spring training for him. And he was trying to get going to start off the season. And well, guess what? I'll tell you what, guys, he got going. He got hot.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought that whole thing in spring training got blown out of proportion. We've already talked about this in the past. But I did want to mention this because I think it is great perspective. Our goal here, bring you guys perspective to bring it full circle. You're not going to get it other places. So we got a chance to talk to Coby this morning. And I asked Coby specifically on how do you block out the outside noise, specifically in a day with all this social media. And I think the ending will have some of you guys laughing or some of you guys questioning what you might tweet next time. Let's play that clip for you.
You're going to hear everything unless you're completely off of social media. So yeah, like I do hear a good bit of stuff, and obviously I had a lot of attention on me at the end of spring training, and there's nothing you can do about it. Like it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, just you have these guys at the field. You're surrounded by your teammates for numerous hours throughout the day. And when you get back from the field, that's the time to decompress from baseball, talk to family, talk to my girlfriend, talk to, my buddies, hop on MLB or on Fortnite or whatever, and just kind of get away from baseball and talk about everything else besides baseball. And if it is brought up, baseball is brought up, like, so be it. Like, it's not a big deal. But yeah, nowadays in social media, like, you hear everything, and, sometimes, like, you may not think, like, if you put out something, I'm going to see it. Or if, the social media is just so big nowadays. Especially when you're on, like, Orioles Twitter, like, you see all of Orioles Twitter.
I'm aware. Yeah. I am aware. So we have another clip we'll show you, but I mean, is he wrong about when you see what happens on Orioles Twitter? I will say, and this is actually a later conversation that Brad found, and it's a fun topic that we can have about sports and
it's a perfect segue. So once we're done with Coby Mayo,
we'll go right into that.
Yeah.
But him talking about, we are in a day and age of social media is everywhere.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. And especially now, if you're building up a brand, I mean, heck, you guys know this with me. I stayed off social media until really I was done playing. And now I'm into media, and I still go like, shit, man. Like, it sometimes can be overwhelming because in our world, you need to see what's going on, but it's very quick for reactions, for news, and everything in between. And when you're playing, though, the reason why I couldn't have it on is I couldn't deal with it personally. I had a really hard time. I already had the name thing going on where I was struggling to deal with my own expectations, and adding something else to it, it's a challenge. But a lot of players, they stay on social media. They grew up with it differently than Brad, you did, than I did. It's like Zach's generation right now.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Of you grew up with it. We weren't having that as a younger.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's even weirdly like, as much as I'm like a part of that generation, I didn't get social media. My first Instagram I got in 8th grade. I didn't get Twitter till I was in college. Like now, I mean, like as much as I joke around where I'm like, hey, you're arguing with 11-year-olds on Twitter. You are legitimately at times arguing with 10 and 11-year-olds. Like as much as I make jokes about, like, there is a possibility that the guy calling you a loser for no reason and you're like getting like your feelings hurt and like arguing back and forth, he might be learning division. Like he may be like he is going to 4th grade
just
tomorrow.
got peach fuzz on him.
Yeah, like we still have, he's going to 4th grade tomorrow. So like sometimes you have to understand it's bigger. Like you got to understand who you can and can't let get to you online.
Oh, for sure. And that's the reality of it. And for Coby, that was a frustrating time. And even also, by the way, I wanted to clarify this even more. With the comments that I still think were taken out of context, at no means was he thinking that he did enough to make the big league team. He knew everything was working against. And he even said, he goes, man, I wasn't playing as well as I could. That's not what I intended to do. But then he goes, that's just what it is, though. You make a comment or you do something, it can be taken in every different way. And then all of a sudden, it's out there. And for Coby, though, which I love, and this is something that I'm still bullish on everything that he does, I think people forget how young players are too. And now they're learning how to handle that more and more. And you want to do one more clip to talk about that. Coby, for the longest time, had his longest home run drought streak, and it started last year. So I want to play part of that clip here. Or Brad, if you can pull it up. This is Coby talking about when he got called up last year, really how long it had been since he actually hit a home run prior to getting hot this season.
My last homer, August 30th, the day before I got called back up in Jacksonville. And then I didn't hit a homer the rest of the year. So I don't think I'd gone like more than 5 days in AAA without hitting a homer, or 4 days or whatever it was. And then I get called up and I didn't hit a homer for like a month. So like you're questioning yourself. You're like, when's the next time I'm gonna hit a homer? And then obviously the off season came around and can't hit homers in the off season. And then spring training rolls around, didn't hit a homer in spring training. So then I get to the season and it's just you want to like round those bases. You want to get that, you want to get that feeling of hitting a homer back. And I've had a decent start to the season. Hasn't been the best. Still kind of grinding through some things with hitting and fielding and just in all aspects of the game. But to answer your question, like hitting the homer is the best thing ever. Like it's one of the best feelings in baseball, in sports you're gonna ever have. So yeah, definitely not ever gets old. Doesn't get old ever.
So we were joking because the question was before of like, I said, dude, I wish I could hit more home runs. Like, how great is that? And he was saying a guy, I think the stat was Zach. This is how much Coby was hitting jacks last year, Brad. Said every 5 games was a drought then if Coby didn't go deep.
That's crazy.
Every 5 games he was hitting a home run.
It's so funny because later on in the interview, mind you, he has hit a home run in 3 of his last 4 games, and they've played, I think it's like, 10, 12 games. And he goes, I'm off to an okay start, not the best. And I'm like, dude, you have the entire internet talking about how you are just raking right now. Also, shirt line needs, you can't hit homers in the off season.
You can't
hit homers in the off season.
You cannot. Also, that was a fun interview on the sides of the back and forth with Connor Norby. The NHL, Brad, if you remember that Norby says he's a good NHL player.
Oh, yeah.
Coby loves NHL as well. So we got the answer on that. We'll drop that interview later on. I think, though, to wrap it in, what I love with Coby, you just mentioned it, Zach. He didn't talk about that he is off to this, torrid last couple weeks here. Didn't mention it. Says, I got things to work on. He's a guy that's determined. He's focused. And I think that everyone wants to look at one comment in spring and also wants to look at 40 at-bats where he didn't play consistently. You're right. We don't know if Coby Mayo is going to end up being a star. We don't. He could be, a guy that never can get to the level or hope that he can be. But you know what he also can be is he could be a superstar. He could. And what he's doing right now, when we're just talking about being in the minor leagues for this year, I was trying to pull that back up right now, Zach. He's like, yeah, I got to get it together. And this is a downtime for him. He's like, yeah, I'm only hitting 254 is what he's saying. He has an OPS almost at 900 right now. He's got 4 jacks, 14 RBIs.
Yeah.
Already walked 12 times. So for a guy that's sitting there going, yep, I got things to work on, that's still for me, that'd be a double career year, just doing what he's done already in 2 weeks.
Right.
So I'm really excited for Coby, and he's a guy like many others on this Orioles team and organization that you want to root for, and wish nothing but the best for him. And I do think, guys, we're seeing all these injuries. Coby is going to get a chance sooner than later. He will.
Yep.
And we hope the best for him. And then when he comes up on up here, we'll have to we're trying to get his food order, by the way, too. But he's a very standard breakfast guy. Very standard.
We also got some we actually got in both interviews some requests for what things we need to add here.
Yeah, we did.
On the show?
On the show. Dartboard was definitely a
Dartboard.
Yeah. That was yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
it was brought
no.
up again
Also,
today.
yeah.
Oh, really?
Westy said we have to get one because then he said to ask people who the best dart player is.
So the only way we do that is if Westy comes in.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
He literally goes, "You guys should get a dartboard. And then when you have people on, you should ask them who the best dart player on the Orioles is." And I was like, I guess I know who the answer is.
That was like last year was ping pong.
Yeah.
Dean Kramer apparently is, which I still haven't been able to play him in. But
Don't call it ping pong.
Yeah, table tennis, Brad.
Yeah,
Table
whatever.
tennis, Brad. Oh goodness. But it's great to connect with those guys and see and the perspective again. We're on April 17th. So many emotions of it. And hey, if you like the emotional side in the moment where the highs and the lows, Kevin and Zach react, they are on after every single game. So
Yeah.
good or bad, you want to go
Season's
talk
back
about
on, actually. Orioles season's back. We broke the curse 2 nights ago. Kevin ate the spicy ramen to get rid of all the bad vibes, and then the Eagles won 9-1. So
would you consider that a superstition?
maybe?
Try something different to see if it
Hey.
sticks, Brad.
yeah.
Maybe we'll have Brad do something next.
Yeah, I can do something. Not cutting hair.
No, not doing that. Not doing that. With all the Hall of Famers we sat down with, Larry Walker was one of those guys too. He changed his superstitions a couple times.
Yeah.
One was writing the initials of a former relationship, former girlfriend that he had and then that stopped when the relationship stopped. But whatever it does, if it works, it's not crazy. So if Kevin needs to eat spicy ramen left and right, then we're gonna have.
Yeah. So it was spicy ramen and then coconut last night. Coconut holiday saved the Orioles season.
By the way, did you see the what Dean's doing? You probably already knew this.
Mm-hmm. With
Barks?
dogs.
Yeah.
Incredible.
That's pretty cool.
It's amazing. So you guys aren't seeing that. Dean and many other Orioles with Barks, the shelter down in Baltimore here, they are trying to find places and opportunities for dogs to find their forever home or to give them a better life.
Yeah.
That's the goal of it. But Dean specifically was helping to adopt or take care of one of the dogs specifically. And I think also, guys, you do good deeds. You might go out there and shove. Dean going out there doing good things. And
For the dogs on Bark in the Park night.
Yeah,
For the dogs.
I think it was meant to be. Dean had his best outing of the year so far. Went out there, lit it up for the birds. Jackson Holiday did it for Coconut. What?
No.
Coco? Nut?
Yeah.
Also, just because anytime Cole Irvin's brought up, just have to say incredible guy.
Yep.
10 out of 10, dude. Cole Irvin.
Really good guy, and he's overseas.
Damn shame what Rocco did to his career.
South Korea.
People
my God.
don't forget.
People forget.
I forgot.
People forget that
People
shit's
We
kind of
ever
gone
had
down.
we ever
Shit's
had him
ever
back
gone-
on? Yeah.
Shit's kind of gone downhill.
Meaning
Since
Rocco, because Rocco doesn't come on anymore.
He was like a 1.6 ERA through 8 starts. Rocco brings up a.
So you haven't given up a run in 21 innings.
Yeah, oh my
man.
God, I will never. And he was incredible about it too. He immediately he's like, well, now I know who to blame.
Yeah.
He immediately jumped on it. He's like, yeah. Then the next time we had him on, he even brought it up. He was like, yeah, thanks, Rocco. He was like, awesome.
Right.
Yeah. It's like, what's the rule, Brad? What's the rule? If someone's hot, what do you not do?
Talk about it.
Don't ask them how their swing is. You don't ask how. Hey, talk me
And
through it.
Don't use the word blowout.
Yep. Don't say blowout.
Oh, that took me back.
Although I love using the word
fall.
blowout.
Yes, you
fall
have.
was a time. Let's do predictions. No B word.
Yeah. British Raven.
Hey,
British Raven love
9
to drop
6.
those. Yeah, British. He would say, he'd be like, I'm saying the B word, and then he'd drop 9-6 every time. He said, it's a blowout. We're winning 9-6. Pat Ricard touchdown, missed extra point.
I was Pat
field
Ricard
goal.
touchdown always too.
Yeah. Well, maybe I guess until we get an eligible receiver and Nick Moore. I think we might get an eligible receiver, Nick Moore touchdown before we have Nick Moore get back in studio.
It's looking like that.
Highly likely. You know, we do need him here for the draft though.
Yeah, where is he?
Are we going to do a draft night though? Because it's Thursday's show. Do you want to do Thursday afternoon?
No. Gotta do a draft. Well, we did the draft last year and it was fantastic.
7 hours.
It was 5. It was 5.
No, because I was thinking the whole thing, because remember Q and Nick, we could at the
Couldn't
end
get him out of the studio.
couldn't get him. Nick kept asking questions and they'd stop every 10 feet. Took him 2 hours to get from here to.
That was when Nick had to take another man.
Yeah. Take another man.
That was Nick
to make sure to make
Part of his rehab.
Part of his rehab.
Yep.
Never tear your Achilles, kids. They don't tell you about the rehab.
Yeah.
It was a lot of different.
Yeah, jerked him off and took another man.
He has had some of the worst sound bites. You would think for someone who's only been in studio 3 times that he wouldn't put up the soundbite numbers he has, but he has had the worst slips of anyone on this show where you're just like, how did you put that set? He and Kevin are going up against each other in a pretty good race.
Oh, goodness gracious. And maybe the Oklahoma drill. We still have to do that with Kevin and Nick. But Nick,
that'll never happen.
Whenever you want to come in, buddy, open invitation. It's just show up.
Yeah.
Show up.
How many times we have to tell him? And then he says, "Oh, I wasn't invited."
He loves hitting us with a damn no invite after he's been invited. He loves that.
I can't wait. You know what? Get Nick in on some fitness challenges. Well, maybe not, because you got to make sure he's okay. The plank stuff would probably crush him. Speaking of that, do we have any update on the poll?
We do have an update on the poll. So if you guys haven't checked that out, if you're watching on YouTube, I put up a poll here sponsored by our friends over at Merritt Athletic Club. Absolutely fantastic sponsorship that we have for the baseball season. What exercise should the boys do today? And what I mean by that is by the end of the show, whoever wins or whatever workout wins is what one of these boys is going to do after they flip the coin from this year's Super Bowl coin. Guys, planking is in the lead right now, but not by much. 32% is the 1 minute plank. 28% is push-ups, 20% is burpees, and squats coming in last with 13. So it looks like you're in the clear for squats, but everything else is up in the air.
What's the longest plank you've done, Zach?
Oh, that would probably 3.5 minutes.
3.5 minutes you've done?
That's not bad.
Another one.
I'm talking in my lifetime. I'm not talking in the past year.
When you weighed 90 pounds.
Yeah, I was going to say back when high school, senior high school football, we had to do those after every practice we had to do. So back then it wasn't really a choice. It was I just had to plank. What about, did you do any wall sits? Oh my gosh, yes. Holding out the 45-pound plates.
Oh, that could have been a good one.
Those were, I will say wall sits were the most brutal one.
And we could have gotten the kettlebells too, where you put it right on top of the person while you're doing it. Can't wait. We'll save that for Brad and Kevin to do the coin flip. Guess what here, guys? The coin's still here.
We should get a wheel.
Yeah.
I'm looking on Amazon for what a wheel that we could put up.
It doesn't even need to be a big one. Just something we can put the camera on.
Yeah.
I mean,
massive.
It could be obnoxious. We could use it for all kinds of stuff.
It being obnoxiously big would be funnier, but
hey, do you want to get on to how amazing Baltimore fans are?
Yes. I think it's a great thing. We're done. We're moving on. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Hit that like and subscribe button. And Brad, we mentioned that Orioles fans can get passionate on X, though, and that's kind of what it's leading into.
Passionate is a good way to put it. So the Russell Street Report came out with an article yesterday talking about how the moodiest fans in all of sports, and particularly with the Ravens in particular, or the football, I should say. This was a study that I guess that was released out by Action Network. They analyzed 10.1 million negative posts on X and Reddit following all 285 games last season. Online posts were collected from both game day and the following day, regardless of the result. So whether the team won or lost, the team then grouped posts by game outcome, calculating the average number of negative posts for after wins or losses for each team. Baltimore Ravens fans were the moodiest overall. They ranked number 1 for both negative posts after losses, which was an average of 71,060 posts per loss, and even wins, averaging 38,777 per win, showing consistent emotional intensity throughout the season. Call it passion, call it whatever you want, but the Ravens hold that title. Second is Kansas City Chiefs, the Bills, the Lions, the Steelers, Packers, Philly, and Minnesota, respectively. So the Ravens fans, total moody posts. Okay. Like I said, Ravens fans ranked number 1, 930,000 total, whether they won or lost. That Kansas City Chiefs fans came in second, 558,000. So Ravens fans almost doubled the amount of emotional posts after a win or loss compared to any other fan base in football.
How about that?
Doesn't surprise me at all.
And we're saying, I'm sorry, and this is just on one platform?
Oh, no, on X and Reddit.
Well, 2 places where clearly it stays very under control and calm.
I'm rarely talking. I can't remember the last time, if I ever have in my life, made a negative comment after a win, other than be like, oh my God, I can't believe how close that was, or something like that. But
yeah, or like, oh, like
this team's trash after a win.
It may be like if, the other team like dropped what could have been an interception, to end it. And I'm like, damn, we escaped from that. Like, or maybe like a stupid fumble at the end, like something like that. But like, I'm never like after a win, like we suck because of this win. Like after you win, like you can be during the game, be like, we can't afford to lose that fumble. Like you can do that stuff. But like once you win, like the whole point, like I've never understood where like people are like, look too sloppy in that win.
Yeah.
Address that during practice. Like, the whole point of today was to come out after 60 minutes with a win. You accomplish that.
Hey, and people wonder why we say the O's are fine all the time.
Well, you could just say, don't let the O's get hot. And, that's just the same as saying, hey, everything's fine. I like also that fact of, you guys know this with me, I'm not going to go on X and dive into conversations. That's just not how I am.
Yeah.
It's not how I am. You want to talk about it? I'm right here. Ryan Ripken Show, live every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We'll get into it. Whatever you want to get into. But yes, on there is a lot of passion. But one thing I think we saw with the Chiefs this year, as you mentioned them, how about the Chiefs the first 9, 10, 11 games, and they were winning, going, how the hell do they keep winning? If I was a Chiefs fan, I would still be ecstatic to be like, hey, that's the record.
Yeah.
Why then where would the AFC Championship game been? Or who would have been the number 1 seed? That would have been Baltimore if you win certain games.
Yep.
Sports, ideally, every fan of teams, especially, want the Ravens in this case, you would want them to win 42-10.
Yeah.
Every single time. Maybe even a shutout, but we know let's be a little bit more realistic. But that 1 year in 2019 where the Ravens just steamrolled everybody. I don't think that was cruise control from week 4 on.
Yeah.
Every single game was a blowout. That is not normal.
No.
So yeah, you got to take the wins, but 900,000.
900,000 to 558. The next closest one.
Don't you just love it? What a fun
That's
fan
absolutely
base.
Insane.
I will say though, there are so many other fan bases that I'm a little bit not surprised if this report is like fully accurate, but there are a lot of other fan bases that I know that are crazy
without question
about their squads.
I mean, look, we talk about Orioles Twitter. Has anybody looked at Yankees Twitter?
Oh, goodness.
I mean, Yankees Twitter is diabolical. Orioles Twitter is not far behind. And I wouldn't be surprised if Orioles Twitter was like, surpassed Yankees, but I would be very shocked if they did. I just double talked myself. But anyways, I Yankees Twitter is pretty damn brutal.
Yeah, I mean, it just people care about their teams, and if your team doesn't win one game, baseball more than anything else.
And why is that? I mean, like,
I would think it'd be the opposite.
Yeah, no, baseball fans lose their goddamn mind. Is it because baseball is played every day and it's just in your face, top of mind every day versus once a week? You got to bitch and complain about it, and you don't have to think about it for another Sunday.
Yeah, so I think that actually is a big part of it, and it gets worse because, like, okay, the Ravens lose a game, like you said, like you don't see them again until Sunday. Yeah. So, like, you know, after pretty much Monday, people are just like, whatever, we're moving on to the next game. If the Orioles lose 3 straight games, that's 3 straight nights of you're like wanting to rip your hair out. Yeah. So, like, I do understand. I think people also just relate more with the players, and honestly, there's just more to bitch about. Like, it being every single night, people are going to, and especially with baseball being a game of failure. Yeah. Like, people, even if the Orioles win 9-1 last night, people are going to be upset because so-and-so struck out. Like, it's going to be, there's always going to be something that you can turn to and be like, well,
Dean Kramer only knows how to
didn't go 6 full. Like, you know, there's always they'll find something.
Always giving up the long ball.
Yeah. You know,
this team sucks. You know, but the context last year, this is why every team has a different journey to get to where they're going to. And it is going to be frustrating parts. That's why I always say with baseball, compared to any other sport, is because if one pitcher's on the bump and he's shoving, then guess what? It might be a rough night for you. But then the next day, 24 hours later, you know, everything could be firing on all cylinders and your team throttles your opponent. That happened. Like, literally, that's just what happened in Baltimore. Cleveland pitched well. Orioles couldn't get the hits, couldn't find the holes. They lose. Everyone feels awful. Then the Orioles yesterday are bopping the ball over the place. Jackson Holiday hits a granny. Coconut is the new team dog. Yeah. Coconut. Yeah.
Okay.
These are the vibes we needed. We're back.
The worst is when both pitchers are shoving and then you're just ripping your hair out because why aren't the bats awake?
Yeah.
That's the worst part.
And then people that if they don't like me giving an example of why, I'm like, do you really want to know? It's because that dude is throwing a ball that's moving this much.
Yeah.
And then you're sitting there going, well, I thought he was going to throw this pitch. And then you're walking back to the dugout going, fuck. Yeah. And then that's that. And that happens a lot.
Did you see Skeens, the pitching ninja put up last night, Skeens slider that moved 20 inches?
Disgusting.
Throwing frisbees out there.
Oh my God. Absolutely insane.
Some of these guys are so talented.
So talented. And actually right now, specifically, there is another top pitcher coming. His team's coming to Baltimore here tomorrow. The Reds. It's a little reunion, actually, in some cases. There's 2 former Orioles on the Reds coming back. Austin Hayes and Austin Wynns. And Austin Hayes just came back, and he seems like he's getting comfortable here in his new home out there in Cincinnati, and the Reds are playing better ball right now. But the pitcher that I'm specifically talking about for the Cincinnati Reds, Hunter Green. Hunter Green, for those that don't know, absolutely throws straight shed. And on Saturday, you're going to see him in action against the Baltimore Orioles. He's 2-1 on the year with a .98 ERA and 31 punch-outs. Guy throws 100 like Skeens, and has that type of off-speed stuff. And right now, if we're going to say of actually who is the best pitcher at this current moment in the National League, it's Hunter Green. And he was a 2-way player when he got drafted. Some people might not know that. Then obviously they said, Hunter, you throw fuzz, man. You're going to go to the bigs a lot quicker and can develop into being maybe a all-star Cy Young guy if you focus on that side of your game, and he has. So that series is going to be fascinating. One more stat I wanted to throw out there with Hunter Green, since we're talking about how good he's been, okay? It's 27 innings, 31 Ks, 4 walks. So he's not just dominating, he's around the zone.
Yeah.
And that's the part we talk about, hey, just throw as hard as you can. And if you miss and you walk guys, whatever. No. He's not walking guys. He's around the plate and he's still getting you out. So I think that's going to be a fascinating matchup. That will be on Saturday when the Orioles face off against the Cincinnati Reds, to be determined for the Orioles, who's pitching Friday and Saturday night. So time will tell tonight on the bump for the Orioles. Tomoyuki Sagano. And we just put out on Instagram the reel from Pitching Ninja, which I know both of you have collabed already on the post.
Yeah.
No.
What?
Oh, I just did.
The one that just went out?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's not fair.
I know. That's why I said it. That was sarcasm. I apologize. My apologies here. If you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. There was one thing I wanted to talk about before I got into a little bit of the cocktail segment sports-wise. It was on my mind from yesterday. Why am I blanking? I was actually perfect.
I was like, what are you doing?
Well, I'm a little bit afraid right now
Of
starting the cocktail segment and then me having to do the actual workout. Where are we with this poll?
Oh, burpees is in the lead
Oh boy.
by 1%.
So I think we cut off this at 350.
Okay.
So 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And then after that, we can get the coin flip going.
Yeah.
I think for now, I don't want to open this bottle, but I kind of do because I want to
Listen, by far my favorite Deep Eddy.
the pineapple.
Oh my God. So good.
Well, maybe then, guys, we do go into a little bit of a cocktail segment here now, a little bit brought to you by our friends over at Deep Eddy. And look, that's how we're going to do it. Pour this glass out because, fellas, I had one hell of a weekend. Mr. Puppy back there made things a little bit problematic. And you know what? These are great with orange crushes or like pineapple crushes.
Yeah.
You can mix it, whatever you want to do.
If just that, bro, and a little bit of seltzer water, that's all you need. You don't need anything else.
Oh, that's so easy.
Just a pineapple soda.
That's so easy to drink. Guys, Throwback Thursday. We'll just throw back to last Saturday. I told you a little bit before the story. Ollie had an incident on Saturday, everybody.
Yeah.
Mr. Puppy. I was going to a friend's engagement party. So we left Ollie at home. And Kelly, she'll join us for Kelly's cocktails with Deep Eddy. I get a call from my mom, Ollie, staying there, saying, hey, you have a situation here. And she goes, I'm not positive, but I had a bowl of Hershey Kisses that was on the table on a little jar, open face jar. And the jar's on the ground and there's only 4 kisses left. I'm like, well, maybe he got a couple, or maybe he just didn't fill it up. He goes, Ryan, I put a bag and a half out there yesterday. I go, well, this is great. Hop right back in the car. We go back and Mr. Puppy seems all good. He seems like he's just vibing. He comes over. He's got a toy in his mouth, wagging his tail. I'm like, there's no way this dog just ate all this chocolate. He looks too happy. Or maybe, he enjoyed it. I don't know. But apparently, as we know, chocolate can be very, very toxic for dogs. I also learned different variations of chocolate also have different impacts on dogs. But do you want to take that risk? No. So we're going, all right, we're either taking him to the ER, we're going to start with the hydrogen peroxide method. So those that you don't know, you can give your dog some hydrogen peroxide. You can measure out with how big they are, give them some.
Just pour that in.
Well, that's kind of what we ended up doing. So Ollie, though, it was like almost like a water bottle.
Yeah.
Gave it to him, opened up, and just, and they said, hey, it's going to take 20 or 30 minutes, maybe an hour to get, something going. I'm like, okay, we'll wait.
Yeah. My dog's like 5 minutes.
Oh, within a minute and a half, he is letting it all out.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put the photos up there.
You took photos?
Oh, we had to because I had to send it out to be like, hey, is this normal? But then there was eating pieces of chocolate, and I swear to you, there was about 15 pieces of the chocolate still in the wrapper.
Oh my
still
God.
like formed. Not and still like if you got it right out of the package.
Oh my God.
Holy
And
shit.
I'm going shirts and pants, man. I'm glad we didn't get the Squirtle. We didn't have the Hershey Kisses coming out the other way. It had to come out that way. All was good, but it was no lie about a pound and a half. I stayed down with him to make sure he didn't have the Squirtles. And all is good for Mr. Puppy. And as we can see, clearly not impacted by anything.
There he is. Is he alive?
Oh, he's alive. Ollie. Ollie, come on.
Don't make a liar out of me.
Ollie, I'm telling the good people here that you're okay, and you're just sitting there. Come on back here, buddy. Oh, he's a good boy.
Give it a good stretch.
Hey, it's always good to kind of reminisce, even if the stories are in the moment, right? Don't we have all those stories in the moment? We're like, this
is terrible.
Sucks.
Yeah.
And I pray this is going to be okay. You guys got any that comes to mind for you personally?
Yeah, mine was my 25th birthday.
What happened?
It was an absolutely insane night, and it was one of those nights out of like The Hangover.
Oh,
where one of my friends busted their head on the Holocaust Memorial, and we all went straight to the strip club. Right, put him in the ambulance. We're like, "Fuck it, we're going to the strip club." We go to the block and just have ourselves a time while he's getting stitched up. There's all kinds of craziness that happened. I
thought something happened to you. It's just like, oh, my buddy. Hey,
no.
See ya.
But we laugh about it now. Like it was
that is a laugh
it's
about
like,
it now.
Kind of like, holy shit! Remember that time where I was so drunk that I was just like, "Oh, I hope you're okay, bud," and then I went and like slapped some asses. So yeah.
The one moment for me that I thought about, I remembered back. I think I told you guys I got a sea urchin stuck in my foot too. It's not fun at the time.
Ooh.
And I was a kid. I had 50 sea urchin pieces in the bottom of my foot when
Damn.
we visited Italy.
50?
Yeah.
How does that even
Holy shit.
all happen at once, or like you just didn't feel it? And
So no, I felt it.
Yeah.
It all, like, you step on it and the reaction from the sea urchin just sticks it into your foot.
yeah.
So it wasn't like it was one prick, the sea urchin, just everything went into my foot.
Damn.
So I thought I hit my foot on a rock in Italy. And so I'm going into the water and that really hurt. Like, let me see if I scraped my foot, get out of there. And there was 50 needles just sticking out my entire foot.
Oh.
Damn.
It's tough for the program here, but
None of that sounds funny.
it wasn't funny. You know, the funnier part here where it wasn't at all, but one piece stayed in my foot for like 4 years.
What?
So the part where this is kind of funny, but it's also like when I say it with my dad and I give him a hard time because he's my dad, Calvin, there was a little black mark in the middle of my foot. And if I had my foot off the side, no shoe on, or whatever, if we were laying down, he would just press on that. I'd be like, dude, that hurts. You're like, oh no, I didn't do anything. Poke. And I'm like, dude, you are the annoying man. So he kept doing that for years after this. And all of a sudden, one of my buddies, we talked about it. He goes, you ever think that something's still in there? I go, I said, they said that's how it would heal. And he goes, why don't you try to push harder? So I tried to push really hard one time and it started to wiggle. And then went down to my dad and said, hey, jackass, this thing you've been pressing on, it's still in there. I said, can you help me try to get it out? And sure enough, we got position, pushed, this thing shot out of my foot.
What?
Shot out of my foot. And it was a good portion still in. And then the mark went away 4 years later. But for 4 years after the fact, my dad would go, hey, remember when we stepped on the sea urchin and I kept poking you? I'm like, dude, yeah, it freaking hurt.
Jeez.
And he laughed. He goes, I didn't do anything wrong. I'm like, yes, you did.
God damn it, Dad.
Yeah, Calvin. Oh my goodness. Raven Lunatic ran into a cactus and had to pull 3 long needles out of my calf.
Jesus.
Zach, anything to rival this?
No, I've never run into a cactus.
Zach has led a boring life.
I know. I've been like homeless in Miami before. There's been like,
Oh, well, that's interesting.
yeah, it was spring break. It was
Kids.
we had the
Kids.
the flights
Back in my day.
Yeah, the flights. Planning was not the greatest, and the flights were a few days after we ended our stay at the house that we had. Nothing. And, so it's just for like 48 hours, we were just roaming the streets of Miami.
Oh my God.
All of our luggage. I spent like 11 hours in a Dave & Buster's charging everything. Yeah, it was.
Where'd you sleep?
Oh, someone caved and we all pitched for a motel.
Oh.
And it was like, but of course they're like, 4 people to a motel room. So like we'd go in 4s, pretending like we weren't all going to the same room. It was like 9 of us in a singular, just everyone at that point, you're just sleeping on the floor, spring break stuff.
Spring break stuff.
Yeah.
Spring break stuff. Those are moments you look back and can be absolutely miserable. And they still might be miserable to you, but you can laugh about some things after a long period of time.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember the pain from the sea urchin. Yes, I do. That shit hurts
Yeah,
so bad.
So wait, was it just like bruised the whole time?
No, what that time when I had
you said
that
there was
one
like a
piece,
black spot on
when I had the one piece, it felt like when you kept pushing on it, it felt like a combination of something was stuck and a bruise. But at the time they said, no, that's normal. It might leave a lasting impact. And I'm like, oh, great. So I'm just going to have this mark. Like
for the rest of my life.
I survived this. And it turned out it was actually still a piece of urchin.
That's crazy.
Apparently people love eating sea urchins too. That's a whole different story.
Yeah, I don't never had one.
And one of these days I'm excited. Kelly's going to join us here. My mother, I do tell people, you've said this about if we ever were to have a TV camera on us at all times. She was a part of that evening with Ali the other night.
Yeah.
The entire sequence was like from a reality TV show. I can't make up what happens. And you guys might see a different side of Ryan when we do these Kelly's cocktails.
Oh, especially because when it's you two spatting at each other.
Oh, and
I can't wait for that.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a great time.
That's going to be fun.
But I appreciate
just
it, guys.
like the Ryan and Kelly banter that goes on.
Just get both of you mic'd up.
I can't wait for that to be on camera.
If we had started doing that during COVID, it would have been something. So my mom and I spent a lot of time together during COVID with Jamie. Jamie would come back from work and she would go, why are you guys at 2 separate sides of the house? Well, do you really want that answer? Stay tuned next time for another edition of the cocktail segment. But guys, I appreciate each and every one of you. If you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. Do this live every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. British Raven, Nick, I don't even want to know.
Yeah, what the hell is that?
I mean, I know what a scorpion is. A Mediterranean scorpion is
that sounds fucked.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I'm out.
That's great. I'm happy for you.
This is why the older
I'll
I get,
pass.
the less likely I am to ever step foot into an ocean. I still do it like for fishing purposes, but I don't know about swimming in one.
Yeah.
Maybe if I got to take a leak, but that's it.
That's it.
Everybody takes a leak in the ocean, right? I'm not weird for that.
No, it's, the funny thing is if someone just goes right into the ocean
and they come right back out,
you know exactly what I'm just going to take a quick dip. Oh, it's so hot out here.
Yeah.
I'm done.
No, usually with my boys, I'm like, or my friends, I'll be like, hey, come let me pee on you. And they just come we all just congregate together.
Okay,
and we all know we're peeing. That's what happens. If you're next to your boy in the ocean and you're peeing,
I'm not.
You're peeing on him.
I'm not. We're going to talk about etiquette here for a second. You just said, hey, buddy, why don't you come into the water so I can pee on you? First off, that was your words, not Zach's, not mine. Next, if you go in,
somebody doesn't understand sarcasm, but can continue.
No, I understand. It's just the words.
Why would I would never say that. Was somebody knocking on the door?
Well, you never know nowadays. But also, you got to have there's a parameters you must be.
So, okay. So then that makes no sense to me. First of all, it's just pee, it's sterile. Second of all, there's all kinds of fish peeing on you anyway. So you're just standing in a giant toilet in the ocean.
It's way different, though, than being right next to a guy.
I'm not saying right next to him.
30 feet away.
30 feet. 30 feet's like at the end of the studio. So you're going to be like, hey, are you done peeing over there?
That's not 30 feet.
No.
30 feet is almost to where Zach is.
Yeah,
No, it's
10
not.
10
That's
yards.
not.
That's
30.
it's almost 10 yards. 10 yards. I guarantee you 10 yards. Maybe this is where we need Nick.
Yeah.
Nick wouldn't know what 10 yards is, but like
Zach
here.
Zach is maybe 15 feet from me.
So the worst case, if that's so it's to where the table is over here by the couches.
Okay, well, still, that's a good distance away. With the waves crashing, you're not talking to your boy from there.
You know what? If I'm going to the ocean and he has to go or I have to go, I create some space.
All
So
right.
I don't have the drift.
I'm not saying that you have to be right next to him.
Yeah. See,
But-
exactly. Weird to announce it like that, even though it was a sarcasm. AKA, you know what? Maybe that's
Walk to the damn bathroom. That's what I'm saying. Like that, no chance am I walking to the bathroom from the beach. Do you have any idea how hard it is to get to your spot at the beach? And then you got to walk back to the car or back to the goddamn porta-john? No.
if there is
Walking into the ocean and I'm taking a leak.
if there is a restaurant though, like right there.
No.
Okay, I was gonna say if there's a restaurant there and I can go get a pina colada,
Uh,
then
well, so
then
the
it's
other-
right
That
there.
changes the point
Yeah,
of this
yeah,
thread.
No, it
That
doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Because no, then you're just going for a drink and you're like side quest. Like, okay, well, I'm here. I might as well go to the bathroom.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
not you're.
But if I'm out day drinking, playing cornhole at the beach all day and there's no bathroom in sight, like
Of course, I'm saying, yeah, I agree with that. I mean, also too, yes, you know, the ocean is a great place to go.
it's a giant toilet, the world's biggest toilet.
Oh goodness gracious! I have another story from that, but I'll save that with.
Oh,
my
wait.
mom will-
Okay, this is even weirder.
Is that Joe? Or are we serious on that one?
There's no way. There's no way.
It can't be.
No,
Can't be.
because the other thing is like, you know, if your bathing suit's wet, you're not going all the way up to the porta john to try to peel your bathing suit off just so you can pee.
Is this what our cocktail segment's going to become? Is the
Just goes off the rails.
off the rails? Which, you know what's that is what happens sometimes, but obviously always
Do you poop in it? No, I don't poop in the ocean.
No. You can't.
Come on, Raven.
That-
Raven lunatic.
That's a
That's-
line. You can't cross that.
No.
if someone does, then you need to question that friendship right there.
Yeah. Nobody wants to see floaters in the ocean.
I don't know anybody that actually has.
Me either.
I don't want to know.
No.
If you do, keep that to yourself. I'll be honest here. But we appreciate Deep Eddie, and as always, guys,
Yeah, shout out Deep Head.
day drink responsibly here. Goodness gracious. Hey, I'll be down at Pickles doing pregame tomorrow. I might have a chance to get down there before the game tonight.
Hey now.
But I'll be doing pregame radio tomorrow, Friday, and actually might be down there earlier getting some content with some of our friends over at Virginia's for Grubbers. VA's for Grubbers.
That's such a great name.
It's a great name. Phenomenal. They are they're good people. They are good people.
Have we talked about Charleston yet?
No, that's where I was going to kind of segue in after
Oh,
I
good.
house this.
How's it?
Do I house it?
Do it.
Hey, as always,
Chug it.
have a day, have a night, and sip and smile.
Whoop.
There we go.
Well
When
done.
I move, you move.
Just like that.
And now let's take a move up to our friends up at Hollywood Casino. Charlestown races in
West
Virginia. Boom. Wonderful. Good job, Zach. Brad, good job.
Yeah.
But our friends, we're going up there for a new show in June. And as always, they have many opportunities up there, the ESPN Bet Casino. We actually, next time, Brad, we are going to the sushi spot up there. And either we're trying Final Cut Steakhouse
We still haven't done that.
or we're getting sushi. I'm kind of leaning the sushi route right now, maybe because I'm craving sushi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing good about it. Nothing bad about a good steak, though.
There, you know what? I could be persuaded here.
When in June?
The last couple weeks of June, it's either the 21st, 28th. We're trying to do when the Yankees are away playing or the Orioles are away playing the Yanks. Could do that, or it'd be the following week.
So we don't have a date yet.
It would be that Saturday. They want to do a Saturday.
That's 21st or the 28th.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
But you know what's also correct right here? If you bet online, and get $100 in pen cash. All you got to do is sign up for the ESPN Bet app to receive your first 50, and you make a deposit to get your next 50, but you got to use the code 50PEN50, 50PEN50. And as always, you must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or call Rocco DeSangro.
Yeah.
Speaking of ESPN Bet, I do have today's Baseball Tonight parlay on ESPN app. The parlay today, fellas, pays 58-13.
Ooh.
Plus 58-13. Only three things have to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Judge hits a jack.
Yeah.
Pete Alonso hits a jack. And Mike Trout hits a jack. Plus 5,800. $10 wins you $580. If all three of them hit jacks tonight.
Pete's been on fire.
Mm-hmm.
Judge has been on fire. Who's the other one?
Mike Trout
So Trout,
has
yes,
also been on fire.
he has. Didn't go deep last night. Actually, that one parlay they had, it was Judge went deep for the hit.
Yep.
Trout did not. So 2 of the 3 legs there. Ohtani went deep as well.
Just got a quick update. Grayson Rodriguez scratched from today's side session with a sore shoulder and had an MRI.
God damn it.
Okay, we should talk about that a little bit now, shouldn't we?
Yeah,
Real quick.
There is a Baltimore battle parlay too for before we get onto that. Baltimore battle parlay from ESPN Bet. This one's an interesting one too. Jose Ramirez hits a jack. Jordan Westburg, shout out, friend of the show, over 2 bases or 1.5 total bases. Stephen Kwan total hits 2, and then Gunnar Henderson gets a hit as well. That's plus 42-38.
42?
42-38.
42-38.
$10 gets you 420.
Well, how about that?
How about it?
How about that? Well, hip, hip, parlay.
Yeah.
Hip, hip, parlay. If you're feeling frisky, if you think Jose Ramirez is taking Tomo or some Oriole pitcher deep, if you want to be frisky with that, he is a great player. Some would say he's due, but do you want that?
I don't know if I like the other one better. I like give me all the jacks.
Give all the jacks. Zach, you want to have a pick for today?
You know what? I'm gonna go. Screw it. I'm doing Gunnar Henderson.
First homer tonight.
Yeah, he's just been making even his outs. He's hitting like 110 miles an hour. I'd like if he, and I think he would also like if he could stop hitting. I think last night the first pitch he saw was 113 ground out to the second baseman. So the exit feel is there. We get that launch angle just a little bit higher. Ball's gonna go. So let's see some magic tonight from the Gun Show.
Let's see some magic. And again, thank you to our friends up at Hollywood Casino and Charlestown Races in West Virginia. Love it. While I pull up this clip, because I think that will be our last talking point, because that is a hot topic now.
Yeah.
Where did our poll end for our fitness quest?
It's a tie right now.
It's a tie?
It's a tie.
So I say we coin flip the exercise and then coin flip the person.
So push-ups 27%, burpees 31%, squats are just out. 11%. 1 minute plank is at 31. Oh, burpees just came in the lead with 32%.
Ooh. Are we closing it now? Is it burpees?
You got till 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock here.
3:58. 4 o'clock. Get your votes in of what you want one of these guys to do.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Burpees, planks, push-ups. Those are your choices as of right now.
Our fate is in your hands. Well, and a coin's hands, but you get the point.
Oh, goodness gracious. Well, guys, we didn't have this planned, but now because we need to talk about it, and I'm just tweeting this out that we're actually going to be talking about. Whammy. Stand by. Whammy. So Brandon Hyde talked to the media today just a little bit ago about this. And Brad, I'll pull up the video myself because I downloaded it.
All right.
Here's Brandon Hyde talking about the recent situation with Grayson Rodriguez.
Start off with a little bit of news. Grayson was supposed to throw a side this afternoon. We scratched the side a day or two ago. He went and got imaging this morning. He woke up a few days ago with a little bit of soreness in his shoulder area. So we're getting imaging this morning. The results have not come back on that yet.
So right there, scratch from the side, new imaging because of a new injury. For me, it's still, everything is all correlated and related. I know they can say new imaging. The reality is what Grayson's been dealing with and then having the soreness around, I think it still goes all back to the lat injuries and issues that he's had the last couple of years. Because once that starts, and when we've talked with Yoni, Dr. Yoni, with True Sports Physical Therapy and being around the game, I've told you guys, the lat is so tricky.
Yep.
The lat then can cause you to be put into other awkward positions, and then that can have a trickle-down effect of how you're pitching. And how many times have we heard, or even Grayson has talked about trying to protect himself? And look, since he's had his first lat injury back in 2022, how many lat injuries he's had, and then how many shoulder injuries he's had, and now it's starting to go towards the elbow. I am an optimist, guys. I'm always an optimist, but I'm a realist. I'm not going to expect the Orioles to have Grayson Rodriguez available anytime soon. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Grayson Rodriguez at all this season. I know it's not what people want to hear, and I hope that's not the case. But I think the best case scenario is you try to get Grayson back the second half of the season minimum. Like, that's like the best case scenario. But it sure does feel, from what I've seen, that this is something that we might just have to wait to see Grayson Rodriguez till 2026. I'm not trying to jump to that part, Zach, but the injury history is a problem. And also, I don't want to put him at further risk and miss more time. And I think that's what they're trying to evaluate right now.
Yeah, I'm not too optimistic about anything with Grayson at this moment, simply because, like you said, not only with the injury history, we've seen this for multiple years, but it is unfortunate that right now there is a possibility, I think, that we don't see him this year. I think that they need to take this as cautiously as possible, because the worst thing that you can do is you push him to come back in July or something, or even August, and then he hurts something even more, and now suddenly you're dealing with, does he even pitch, to start 2026? If there is, until he is completely healthy, you have to let him rest. Just another massive, I don't want to call it a massive blow to the Orioles, because I felt like we never really had an actual grip or timetable for Grayson. It was all just kind of, he's progressing. Like, he's throwing, and you never really heard anything positive coming from it. But this is definitely any sort of optimism that you had of, okay, I think we see Grayson soon, or within the next 2 months, that's out the window. You gotta, I would say, like you said, the optimist in me is saying, let's see him in the second half and go from there. The realist in me, that also knows the injury history and stuff, is saying, we'll see if we see Grayson Rodriguez this year.
I really don't feel optimistic about with the setback, because right now you got to keep in mind, when you're trying to build up and you have something else that's popping up. And I think I told you guys this, and I hope this isn't the case. This is just from what I've experienced with playing and being around the game, is that when you are dealing with one thing and you can't get to that intensity up because something else happens, that's a sign for a problem. I also don't like, in general, when we're talking about having any type of inflammation around the elbow, usually down the road, if it's been, as we've seen this, lat, shoulder inflammation last year to now shoulder fatigue, to then the elbow situation, to another shoulder issue, something's going to give here, whether that is you just need extended rest or you're going to need something fixed. That's just from what I've seen. So for right now, for Grayson, you got to hope for the best. But for the Orioles, then let's go to this other side then, Brad, because now let's just you cannot rely that you're going to have Grayson moving forward.
Right.
You can't. So in this case, if Grayson is unavailable for a while, then what do you have? Now you're really getting thin. I mean, they're already thin to begin with here, but Wells is not going to be ready for a while. Zach Eflin, it was positive when he said, I'm looking to get back soon, but as we talked to Yoni as well, he was saying best case scenario, 3 to 4 weeks, which right now this would put Eflin at approaching almost 2 weeks of him getting back to throwing, right? So that could be on that timeline of best case for Eflin. Gibson will be here soon, but you lose another starter, you got to look from within, or you got to really explore what is out there in the landscape of Major League Baseball. But guys, I don't even think that they would make a trade in April. It's not because the Orioles wouldn't be interested.
Why would the other team?
Most teams don't want to make trades in April.
Yeah. Even the Marlins, who are, I would say, as dead set on they're going to get rid of Sandy as they are, unless the Orioles literally went to them and were like, hey, we'll give you Mayo and Basayo right now. Why would they? You know, they can drive up the price. They can see what happens. When we talk about Gibby coming back and stuff, I love Gibby. I think his veteran leadership is second to none, and I think he is going to have a massive impact in the locker room and stuff. What I worry about is this is another downgrade on the field that we need to have step up. You know, it was before it was okay, Grayson needs to step up and take over that ace role. You know, Eflin step up and take over that 2 role, and everyone kind of had to step up and be like, okay, you're filling these shoes. Well, now with Eflin and Grayson on the sideline for the foreseeable future, you've had guys have to step up 3 or 4 levels. You went from your number 3 guy. You could argue right now the ace of that team is Dean Kramer. You know, if we go off of, you know, who has had recently the best track record, obviously Sagano over in Japan. We haven't seen fully how that translates yet, but these are not, you know, going into the season. This would be worst case scenario if you were an Orioles fan. If we told you that we're sitting here April 17th, we got another negative, I'll call it negative, another negative update on Grayson Rodriguez. We got, you know, Eflin on the shelf. We don't know how long, you know, Bradish and Wells are going to be. You would be thinking, oh boy, you know, and it is tough because as much as I love Gibby, as much as I, you know, think Dean is an incredible pitcher, I still stand by my thing that he wins the most games on this Orioles staff this year. It is a big, you know, ask for you to be like, hey, you have to be the team's ace. You have to be this team's number 2. You know, it does put more pressure on these guys. So it's just a very unfortunate situation for the Orioles. And if they don't get, you know, if we don't see Grayson back, I don't want to bank on, oh, you know, I see people like, well, Bradish gets back in August. Let's not, you know, that should be a, you know, ace in the back pocket, you know, okay.
And you still can't rely.
Exactly. That should be a bonus.
Situation. Yes.
That should be a best case bonus. It should be something where if Bradish comes back and pitches just at 80% of what Bradish can pitch at, boom, massive bonus to the rotation. It can't be okay, well, in August, we'll get Bradish back. So there's our ace. You build the team like you're not going to have Bradish, like you're not going to have Wells. And if they do get back, you know, Suarez as well, they do get back and healthy like Grayson, then it's like, okay, that's a bonus. But yeah, at the moment, you can't move forward just expecting that all the injured players are going to come back and be all sunshine and rainbows.
And to finish to that point, Grayson is in that realm of we're talking about of as a guy that you were hoping could be your ace this year, could be a top end guy. And so when you're banking on it because of the potential and what you've seen, it's not that we're making this up. You've seen what he's capable of doing, but the biggest knock for him the last couple of years really has just been staying on the field. That has been the biggest part. And how do you get better? How do you take that next step in your career as a pitcher? You got to be on the field to be able to do that. And for the Baltimore Orioles, when we talked earlier about bullpens and when I said I like if starters can go deeper into the games, and I understand you want to win now, and if you think there's a matchup in the 4th or 5th inning that you want to go to, I get that. But now the pressure is going to be more on the starting pitching where you need to get deeper into games because with a depleted staff, your bullpen is going to have to be that strength. They are going to have to handle the brunt of it, but that's the only thing. It is April 17th, and I'm not worried on what the Orioles could be or couldn't be on April 17th because there's a lot they got to figure out. But one thing that can start to wear someone down is if the overusage continues to build up. That's my one concern when it comes to the bullpen. I think that they're going to be really, really good this year. But when the starters are hurting, the guys that they have, just like what Dean did last night, if you can have guys like him, Sagano, Povich, Morton, get 5th, 6th, 7th inning in and save that bullpen, I think overall the longevity of the staff, they're going to be able to figure it out. And I think that this offense is going to be able to learn how to figure out how to consistently on a 162 go out there and put up big numbers. They're fully capable of it. They hit the ball really damn hard. Did it a lot last night, but it does help when you feel like your staff is in a good position overall. So we'll see. I'll answer this question real quickly. What would we call Grayson's injury chronic at this point? I don't know if I would say chronic. I would just say with the lat, I think it all goes back to the lat. Yeah. I think you can look back to it, and since then, imagine if you're trying to really correct one thing and you don't fully correct that the way that you want, or you feel that I got to throw a different way, or slightly, we might not notice it, but it's something that's slightly off from your regular mechanics, or in general that just didn't heal the way that you wanted to, it's going to then impact the rest of your shoulder and then the rest of your arm. So that's what we're seeing. I think that's where it is. And you know who else had a lat issue? And I hate this for him because him being traded here to Baltimore has been dragged through the mud. Who is that guy last year at the deadline?
Trevor Rogers.
And his injury that he had after his rookie year and where he has not been the same was a lat injury. And then he hurt his lat again in 2023. I don't think that's a coincidence, personally. I think that there is correlation to that, and then you have to find a way back, and then you have to try to stay healthy. So that's all I have with that. And G-Man, I think for the Marlins, they know they have the highest chip out there. So they're not going to budge unless it's a deal that's going to knock their socks off. And quite frankly, if I'm the Marlins, I'm not moving Sandy until I absolutely need to. Say the Marlins are better than you think.
I was going to say,
do you hold on to them?
I don't know if they move them at all.
Exactly.
They're in rebuild mode, and they got some good players out there that are, still developing. I think could be really good for them.
No doubt about it. And hey, Tone, thanks for finding the channel, man. Appreciate you. I'm curious who you played for.
We got
back then. We got to wrap it up here. We got to wrap it up, but we appreciate you guys. Last thing, then we'll do this coin flip and we'll get on out of here.
What won? Burpees?
Yeah. So the 1 minute plank one.
1 minute plank. Wow.
Yeah. So 32% 1 minute plank burpees came 30%, push-ups 25, squats 11.
All right. All right. So
1 minute plank, fellas.
Zach, you can call this in the air, or you can pick.
I'll go ahead. Wait.
So heads is the Kansas City Chiefs, Philadelphia Eagles. Tails is the Super Bowl emblem. What you want me to call it in the air?
Yeah.
Here we go. Ready?
Tails. Oh.
Damn, that's a heavy coin.
Wait, so what does that?
So you win the toss.
So what does that mean? I plank? We should have.
No, you win it. You chose the right one. So you get to elect. So you can change the. Brad didn't have the camera on it for it.
It's official coin.
Yeah,
there you go.
Wes. All right.
So now Rip has to do the plank, the 1 minute plank.
No. You want to do? Hey, you want to?
If you chose the coin, then you should get to choose. Then you should not be subject to.
Hey, how about this? I'll do a minute and 45 seconds each side.
There we go.
Yep, you go for that.
I'll do 2.5 minutes. Okay.
Oh, Kelly just said Hershey kiss anyone after the plank. Oh, miss you, Kelly.
Also, I don't know if you guys saw, but the Minnesota college basketball player Tyler Wells entered the transfer portal today, and everyone's like, "Damn, guess the rehab's not going well."
By the way, did you watch the game last night?
Yeah, I watched the game.
Oh, they had Tyler Wells mic'd up,
Yeah, incredible.
just talking to himself. I'm like, yeah,
Him talking about the dogs on screen, and he was like,
To
"Give him the
himself.
burger, give him the burger," and they kept going. That's great content there.
Yeah,
That's great content. Tyler Wells himself is content.
yes. Rip still doing the plank here. How many seconds are we in? 42 seconds.
Just get a little rock.
This
is easy.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, that's
Do the side one. I'll show off here in a second.
Oh, God, here we go. Shout out to Merritt Athletic Club
yeah. Shout out, man.
for bringing this plank is brought to you by them. Oh. Just spreading the legs.
Can I turn the other way?
You should turn the other way. Just put your crotch to the camera. Butthole right to the camera. I really wish Rocco was here. I talked to Rocco today. I had lunch with Rocco today. Or brunch, I guess I should call it.
What's he up to?
He's doing good, you know. Oh, we're just adding to it. Okay.
Well, I said I'll do 30 seconds. I'll do 30 seconds each side.
Somebody said they heard a fart. Was that you?
No, not yet. Should I?
Burp. You give a really good look at your hairline from here.
Oh, perfect. Mr. Puppy.
All righty.
We're good.
I think we're good.
All right. Woo! Feel great. How did my hairline
That's
look?
good.
Fantastic, as always.
Yeah. A little shiny.
Oh,
up there.
Rip's plans need work. Is that Rocco?
Planks, probably.
Goodness
Yeah.
gracious.
That's right.
Yeah, then
God, Rocco hasn't done a plank. And I was going to say he hasn't eaten a carb since 2 hours ago.
Rocco's really good at picking things up and putting them down,
Oh, yeah.
but not himself.
That's a very good point. All right, guys, let's get on out of here, though. Guys, we appreciate it. Before we get on out of here, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. We've had a great list of guests this week. As always here, we appreciate each and every one of you. Great list of guests this week. Kyle Stowers, Jordan Westburg, Coby Mayo, Joe Flacco, John Means, and Kyle and the Iron Rooster. We appreciate all of them. We appreciate all of you. Have a day, have a night, and we'll be back here next Tuesday for a brand new edition
Congrats,
of the Ryan
Laura.
Ripken Show.
Congrats.
Hey, congrats, Laura. Sports.